I'm Bill, organic specialist here at the Good Earth Garden Center in Little Rock. This afternoon we're going to prune some knockout roses. As you can see by the way I'm dressed, it's pretty chilly today. It's mid-February, probably 40 degrees. But as you look at the plant behind me, you can see it's approximately 99% defoliated. Unfortunately, there's also some new growth on here. So we've got our work cut out for us. This rose is probably 4 feet, maybe 5 feet tall. But before we get started on the rose, let's do a quick inventory on the tools we're going to need. Good pair of leather gloves is essential. Roses got thorns and we don't want to get cut up and pruned. The next tool we're going to need is a good pair of pruners. I've got my Felcos. It's called a bypass pruner because it works well in one hand. The other tool I brought with us today, what we call a lopper. You see the handles on this are approximately 24 inches long. It allows you to work the base of the plant. A lot of leverage with this tool. So if you happen to be a little weak, the tool's a little stronger than you are, okay? All right, I'm gonna put my gloves on, and what we're gonna try to do today is just give you a general overview of how to prune this rose. And really, knockouts are very vigorous plants. So there's really not going to be a right or a wrong way to do this, because unlike a hybrid tea, the fruiting on the rose is totally different. For the knockout rose, the primary function of pruning is going to be to shape. This rose, as I said earlier, is approximately 4 feet tall, and for our purposes in this bed, we want the rose to be about half as tall as it is. It's not unusual for a knockout rose to grow 4 to 5 feet in a single season. Extremely vigorous rose. So as we look at this rose, the first thing we're going to try to find is any kind of dead wood or dead material that needs to be taken out of it. Fortunately, this rose is in really good shape. There's only a few minor pieces like this that you'll see that you have dead wood that really needs to be removed. A lot of times you'll have this situation. We get here where the camera can see it. You'll see the end of this particular cane is dead on the end. So you want to try to cut back about an inch or so beyond that dead piece so that you're getting into some good wood on the cane. Pretty essential that we try to remove as much of this dead material as possible. Now this rose has been pruned many times, so there's a lot of forks. There's a lot of splitting of the canes, and really in terms of a knockout rose, that's advantageous because we want it to be as thick as possible. I'm going to cut a shaft of this just to show you what we're up against. This rose has already started the process of leafing out for spring. Some of the buds have already started to swell. There's actually some leaves already started to form. Now fortunately, this is not going to be a problem for us because the rose is going to have plenty of time to recover before spring. Just thought of something. One of the things we run into in the nursery business, we use our pruners for a little bit of everything. It's not unusual for us to go for a Leland cypress, for example, and cut out canker, cut out diseased wood. So it's really imperative that you try to clean these pruners if you follow that kind of a situation. In other words, if you were cutting the canker out of a Leland cypress, it's important that you would clean your pruners maybe with some Clorox or some type of disinfectant. You could even use mineral spirits or some kind of acetone to just wipe the blade clean so that you don't carry that disease onto this plant. All right? Same would be true of the bypass pruner as well as the loppers. I'm going to be able to make quick work of this one. It's not a very heavy cane. I'm going to take the rose down approximately a third. Now, for example, if I had to go in here and get a cane that was dead, the loppers are going to allow me to extend in there. For the most part, I want to maintain a good structure on the rose. If it's out of balance, I want to try to correct that. But by and large, we're going to reduce the overall height of this by approximately 30 to 40%. The great thing about the fact that it's defoliated, it allows you to see the structure of the plant. You can really see where it's balanced, see how tall it is. Just gives you an opportunity to really look and see the structure of the plant very well. Once we've reduced the plant to this height, now we can start to look at some of the smaller things that we want to remove. For example, if we've got too many forks or there's too dense, that we might want to thin it out. Here's some more dead wood that we missed the first time. Keep in mind that this knockout rose is so vigorous, it grows back so quickly, it's going to be very hard to over prune. Might be your prerogative to take it down even shorter. You may want to take it down as low as 12 inches or less. Keep in mind that the rose is going to recover very nicely, should flush out very well, have a lot of beautiful foliage, and hopefully a lot of beautiful flowers. You can notice right here where this rose was damaged, this particular cane right here could have got broken by, you know, could be an animal or some force, could have been the yard man backing into it or hitting it with something. Anyway, see how the damage here, and again, we're cutting that out completely because there's no way for that to totally recover. It won't heal. Dun, 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 dun. We're only probably 3 minutes into this project and we've already taken the rose down probably to the height that we want. Now we're just going to start to finally shape it, bring it into more of a, not so much a perfect circle, but more of an oval where it has something of a peak at top, balanced in the side. We want the growth to come back centered. We want the rose to be balanced as it reproduces next year. This spring, I'm sorry. Usually when you have a situation where the rose is split, it's doubled like this, a lot of times we just want to thin the plant. We may want to take out one of these leaders, may want to take out both of them. Allows the plant to still have height, but not be as dense. So when the new growth comes on, it's going to have plenty of room to develop. Plenty of sunshine to come in here, you get a lot of fruiting. Starting to look like a rose. Excellent, excellent. Really, there's not going to be any difference in the way you approach whether it's a single knockout or the new double knockout. The blossom just has more petals on it. So the procedure is basically the same, whether it's a red, yellow, all the knockouts are treated very similar. Not like a hybrid tea, not like a floribundia. This is a totally different rose. And again, what we're trying to do is basically conform the shape so that it meets what you see, how it's suited in the landscape. You may want it to continue to hold a height at 4 feet. You may want it to be much lower. But again, the reason we're pruning it now is because we can anticipate, you know, the growth, the fruiting, so it's going to be attractive and be balanced in the landscape. Once you get it to this point, you're good. Once you get it to this point, you're going to be able to see a lot more dead wood. You'll see a lot more dead ends. You'll be able to clean it up. The closer you get to the finished product, the more you're going to be able to fine tune it. There's an area right here that's very dense, very heavy. I'm going to thin this out a little bit. At this point, we're really searching for a lot of these dead end pieces like this, trying to cut those back, basically clean it up. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way this one's shaping up. It's got a lot of very healthy canes. We were very fortunate with this particular rose because we didn't have a lot of dead wood. Wasn't any damage that was severe. Everything looks really healthy and green. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Once we've completed the pruning, we're going to pull this mulch back, do some fertilization, and pull our mulch back to it, cover it back up, and wait for a little sunshine, a little temperature, and knockout roses are phenomenal. We use the expression in this industry that something blooms all summer. This is one plant that truly does. Once it starts blooming, it's going to bloom well into September, sometimes into October. We even had projects where we saw knockout roses blooming in November before. So it's not a misnomer on our part when we say bloom all summer. Knockout roses are phenomenal to do just that.